the fans of Jannik Sinner have taken a bold step by addressing a formal letter to the ATP, voicing their outrage at the continuous verbal attacks from Nick Kyrgios. The Australian player's repeated criticisms of Sinner, following the Italian's successful anti-doping test results, have sparked significant controversy within the tennis community. Through social media platforms and interviews, Kyrgios has openly labeled Sinner as a disappointment to the sport, a statement that has provoked a strong reaction from Sinner's supporters. Many Italian fans have rallied to defend their compatriot, claiming that Kyrgios' remarks are not only devoid of empathy but also amount to a smear campaign that unfairly tarnishes the young player's reputation. In their open letter to the ATP, a coalition of Italian supporters detailed their concerns and called for disciplinary action against Kyrgios. The letter emphasizes that his ongoing public statements are defamatory and promote hostility, creating a toxic environment for Sinner and his fanbase. The document further urges the ATP to intervene and curb such behavior, arguing that it undermines the sport's integrity and fosters unnecessary divisions within the tennis world. According to the letter, Kyrgios' actions do not align with the values of sportsmanship and respect that professional tennis seeks to uphold. Meanwhile, Jannik Sinner has chosen not to respond publicly to Kyrgios' accusations, opting instead to maintain a focused and composed demeanor. The young Italian player is dedicating himself to his legal defense and preparing for his return to the court, letting his performance speak louder than words. This dignified silence has earned him admiration from his fans, who continue to stand by him in the face of adversity. The unfolding tension between these two figures highlights a growing debate about the limits of public commentary in the world of sports. As the ATP deliberates on potential action, the tennis community watches closely, divided between Kyrgios' polarizing outspokenness and Sinner's steadfast resilience. The controversy surrounding Jannik Sinner's alleged doping case continues to deepen, leaving the ATP in a precarious position as the debate gains traction within the tennis world. The final resolution of this case, currently under the scrutiny of the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS), is set to shape not only Sinner's career but also the broader landscape of anti-doping enforcement in professional sports. Let's explore the possible outcomes of this complex and highly contentious situation, which has captivated both fans and analysts alike. Sinner's case has its roots in a series of positive test results that initially remained undisclosed for months, sparking criticism regarding the transparency of tennis authorities. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, later filed an appeal, challenging the initial findings that cleared Sinner of any wrongdoing. Now, as the CAS prepares to deliberate, the stakes are higher than ever for the Italian star, who closed 2024 on a high note with stellar performances in major tournaments. The potential outcomes of the CAS ruling are varied and hold significant implications for Sinner's future. If the CAS determines that the evidence supports his innocence, Sinner would emerge from this ordeal with his reputation fully restored, potentially even stronger due to his resilience in the face of adversity. Such an outcome could solidify his standing as one of tennis's brightest young talents while also raising questions about the processes that led to the case being brought against him. On the other hand, a verdict of guilt could spell disaster for Sinner. Depending on the severity of the findings, he could face a range of consequences, from the annulment of his recent results to a suspension lasting several years. Such a ruling would not only tarnish his career achievements but could also lead to significant financial and professional losses, potentially derailing his career trajectory. The situation has ignited heated debates within the tennis community, particularly regarding the initial secrecy surrounding the case. Many have questioned whether the sport's governing bodies handled the matter appropriately, and the outcome of this case may set a precedent for how doping allegations are managed in the future. Angelo Costella, a former CAS member, recently suggested that negotiations between Sinner, WADA, and the CAS might be a viable alternative to a prolonged legal battle. If a settlement is reached, it could potentially mitigate the fallout for all parties involved, though it remains uncertain whether such an agreement is achievable. For now, Sinner has opted for silence, focusing on his training and preparation while awaiting the decision. His restraint has earned him admiration from some quarters, even as others criticize the lack of direct engagement with the controversy. Meanwhile, fans are left in a state of anxious anticipation, speculating about the possible ramifications of the CAS ruling. As the decision looms in the coming months, the case has become emblematic of broader issues within professional tennis, including the need for greater transparency and consistency in anti-doping protocols. Whether this chapter concludes with vindication, sanctions, or a negotiated resolution, it is clear that the final outcome will leave a lasting impact, not only on Jannik Sinner's career but also on the sport's ongoing battle against doping and the perception of its fairness among players and fans alike. In the end, this tense waiting period serves as a reminder of the fragile balance between maintaining the integrity of the sport and ensuring that athletes are treated justly. As the tennis world watches closely, one thing is certain: the resolution of Sinner's case will mark a pivotal moment in the history of the sport. If the case reaches a formal hearing, the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS) may reopen the examination of witnesses and experts previously presented by Jannik Sinner during the proceedings with the ITIA to clear his name of doping allegations. According to Italian commentators, this could lead to a lengthy and complex judgment process. The implications of an unfavorable ruling for Sinner, however, go far beyond the tennis court or his public image. Many of the lucrative sponsorship deals he has signed with prestigious brands such as Rolex, Gucci, Bocce and Nico, and Alfa Romeo contain clauses stipulating immediate contract termination and cessation of payments should a doping-related verdict be rendered against him. The unfolding of this situation in the coming months will undoubtedly be intriguing, as the stakes for Sinner couldn't be higher. A guilty verdict could strip him not only of his professional achievements but also of the financial and reputational pillars supporting his career. Fans and analysts are left in suspense, wondering how the proceedings will shape the future of the young tennis star and the sport at large. In parallel, another polarizing figure in the tennis world, Nick Kyrgios, made headlines with his recent appearance on the Ain't No Major podcast. Kyrgios, known for his candid and often controversial remarks, sat down with fellow players Steve Johnson, Sam Querrey, John Isner, and Jack Sock to discuss a range of topics. Among the most striking revelations was his admission of a complex, love-hate relationship with Rafael Nadal. Kyrgios surprised listeners by confessing that he once harbored deep resentment toward the Spanish tennis legend. "I couldn't stand Nadal. I hated him, despised him completely," Kyrgios shared. "Whenever I saw him around, I just couldn't deal with it." The pair have faced each other 9 times, with Nadal holding a 6-3 lead in their head-to-head encounters. Despite his intense feelings, Kyrgios admitted that competing against Nadal always brought out the best in him. "Playing Rafa motivated me like nothing else. I always tried to play my best tennis against him," he revealed. "I never felt that same fire against Federer or Djokovic." When pressed on the root of his animosity, Kyrgios explained that he viewed Nadal as his adversary and felt an overwhelming need to prove himself capable of defeating the Spanish maestro. "Everyone worshipped Rafa, praising his work ethic and everything else," Kyrgios said. "Meanwhile, I just couldn't stand it. I wanted to show people that you could still have fun, stay relaxed, and beat top players." However, despite his previous animosity, Kyrgios didn't hold back in praising Nadal's monumental impact on tennis. He acknowledged Nadal as the undisputed king of clay and hailed his dominance at Roland Garros as unparalleled. "We'll never see another player like Rafa at Roland Garros. His legacy at that tournament is eternal and will remain a part of sports history forever," Kyrgios admitted. As the tennis world watches these two narratives unfold, the high-stakes doping case surrounding Sinner and the ever-controversial antics of Kyrgios, fans continue to be captivated by the drama, rivalries, and larger-than-life personalities that define the sport. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Tennis Extra. We are dedicated to bringing you the most comprehensive tennis coverage, featuring in-depth analyses, exclusive interviews, and up-to-the-minute updates on your favorite players, tournaments, and strategies. Join our community and immerse yourself in the excitement of the tennis world with us.